All right, all right, all right. This is Preston on a live call, take two, and I managed to mess this one up because I did not send you guys the link for this call. So what we're going to do then is I will do one more live call. I will do one on September 7th at 7 o'clock, which is Eastern time, which is probably a better time for most of you. But since I'm already here and have this time blocked off, and because somebody could come in and join on this call, I'll take this time to do some more training for you. So just take advantage of that. So give me a second here. I'm just going to share my screen. And we'll go do a little bit more of a deep dive into what I was talking about on the initial call. So this is the Sell More Books webinar. And the reason I'm doing this is because I know there are so many of you who have a message in your heart, something that needs to get out into the world, something that maybe is God's place there for you to share. And whether you are struggling to get it out, or you've put it out on Amazon, but it hasn't found an audience, I want to help you to get that out. I want to help to facilitate that process because I feel really strongly that people are waiting. People are waiting to hear your word. And as I was sharing on the first call, this is true for me too, because I've had stories that I've neglected. I've been building up our business on my wife's books as she's been building out her business based on those books, but I've kind of neglected my own. So this is true for me too, where I'm going to be really recommitting to getting my own books, out into the world, to really pushing them out and getting them exposed to more people, and to applying the same principles that I do for her to myself and for others as well, because I've taken her books from 30 a month to, we had 1,008 sales in August. That is the third time this year that we've had over 1,000 books sold, and sales are usually around 8,000 to 800 to 1,100 books sold, and we're just continuing to grow it. So if I can do it, because I started off at the same place you are right now, you can do it as well, and I can show you the steps. And I can make it a lot easier for you than it was for me, because I had to do the whole learning curve. I didn't have anyone to teach me. I did take a course at the very, very start, but then after that, it was all learning. So who am I and why listen to me? I'm Preston Squire. I run Preston Squire Publishing. I have been publishing books on Amazon since 2014, and I have learned the ropes. I've learned the techniques. I've studied Amazon and other sites, and really always looking for, how can I improve? What can I learn? How can I do this better? How can I get it out to more people? And so, I've spent the time now in the trenches, learning that. Once I put the books out originally, they got sales, and we were selling 30 to 100. If I was doing some promotion, putting the books on sale, we'd sell 100 something. If I wasn't putting them on sale, we'd sell 30 to 50. And at first that was good enough. At first that was success. But when I really started to get serious and really started to look into it and apply the principles, I jacked those sales up per book from 300% to 3,500%, and have just been continuing to grow those sales months after months after that. So that's who I am, and these were the 4 points that I talked about last webinar. This really help you to get the exposure, to make your books discoverable, to make them convertible, and to get them into the hands of more people. Because if we're going to write a book, we want people to read it. We want people to be blessed by it. We want people to enjoy them. We want people to have their lives impacted and have that satisfaction that, we've made a little bit of difference or a big difference in this world. And that's really what, we're called to do. And, if we've got that thing in our heart to share, then that's really, important that we don't just sit on it, not to sit on the gifts that God's given us, but to get them out into the world, right? And just to really step that out in faith. And that's really where I'm coming from. So I'm going to go through this a little bit more in depth here and show you some examples of what I am talking about. So let me start with one of my former clients that I had, or I'll just tell you about it because here's a good example of the first one of finding your fans. And talking about that, I was really talking about niching down and finding the more specific person that you can talk to, really talking to, who is that person who this book is really best suited for, and talking to them as if you're having a one-on-one conversation, as opposed to trying to go wide. And one of my very first clients that I had, he was like my wife, he's a fitness trainer, and he'd written a book. So I offered to help him with it. And, we re-edited it. We improved the layout for it. We got a new cover for it, and we put it out again. And we certainly did get more sales for him. It certainly did do better. But what I realized after doing that book was the fundamental problem was he didn't know who his audience was. He just wrote something very general health tips that could apply to anyone. And of course, this is the common mistake, because we think, well, the more general it is, the more people it will appeal to. But the opposite is actually true. The more general it is, the less appeal it has to anybody. People want books that speak to them specifically. And here's the real kicker, was this particular gentleman was a vegan, and he had won a bodybuilding contest. He was like Mr. World Vegan. So he was top vegan bodybuilder. And I'm like, you have to write a book on being a vegan bodybuilder. And he was like, oh, it's too small an audience. Yes, it's a small audience, but it's a small audience that no one is talking to. And if you put out the book being the, champion bodybuilder in this field on how to build your body, how to get those, bulk up when you're just on a vegan diet, how to get that definition, how to get that cut, how to win an award like that, or just live that lifestyle, you're going to be seen as the absolute authority. And every vegan who's into bodybuilding or exercise, or even has a slight interest in it, will buy the book because there's nobody else talking to them. And that would be a whole lot more sales than this very generic book that he had that, was very hard to get traction for. I mean, it was good, but if you're doing something generic, you have to have some kind of twist that nobody else is doing. Taking what people perceive to be true, for example, and turning it on its head, in order to get people to pick up your book. So that was a great lesson that I learned from working with him and working on that book in particular, is you really have to niche it down. You have to find who is your target audience and speak to them. So for the next one here, creating terrific titles, let's go on to Amazon and we'll actually take a look at some books, and we'll do this for the covers as well. And then I'm going to go into Amazon ads, and we'll take a quick look at that for you as well. Okay. So I'm going to stop sharing for just a second. Okay. go back. And I'm just going to put in a random thing here. So let's do Western books for men, sure. And actually, since I'm doing this, let me just, I'm going to come back to this. But you see, as soon as you type in here, you get all these drop downs. And this is how you find your keywords. This is a free way to find keywords. There are better ways. There's some paid programs that you can buy that will tell you specifically how many people are searching for each of these keywords. But if you're just starting out and you don't want to be investing a whole lot of money, this is a great way to do it. Generally, the ones at the top are going to be the most popular ones. So, you know, we can see we got Western books here. That this was the first one when I was just typing it in, you know, so but yeah, these are all things. So if you're when you're creating an Amazon ad, we'll come back to this later, but here's how you can find those kind of listings. So then we're going to be looking now at the titles and the covers. And I might as well cover both of them since we're here looking at these books. And we'll look at, you know, what's really good and what could use some work. So, I mean, the first ones on the first, these are all sponsored ones. So these people have paid. These are Amazon ads. So these people have paid to have their book shown up when you're doing this search. And then these are the actual listings here. And so you can see right off this bat, William Johnstone, he's paid to show this book, but this book is shown up as well. So this is partly because man is in the title, right? So Amazon said man, it's, you know, similar enough. It's a Western book. So that's shown up. Oh, what is, okay. Looks like my Chrome might crash on me here again, which is what happened in the last call. It's just going black on me. So just hold on a second here. I'm just waiting for it to either come back or to crash completely. All right, oops. Okay, let's see. What's going on? Okay, I'm almost there. Okay. So yeah, for some reason, Chrome just keeps crashing on me when I'm doing a webinar. So this is one of those live and learn things. But here we go. I'm using a different browser. We'll see if I have luck with this. And back to Amazon. And let's just do that search again. So Western books, and there it is. Okay. Now, so here's the John Stone book again. We saw these ones, this couple of different ones on this particular search that I did. And you can see like these two books are, are good covers. This guy is obviously a popular writer. So he's got his name very clear. It's more important. His name is more important than the title of the book. And you'll see this with, really popular authors like Stephen King, or anybody where they've got a lot of books out. They'll often make the name much bigger even than the title of the book. But even here, the title of the book is quite clearly read. I can't read anything else. That's all too small, but that's okay. It's Forever, Texas. And you can tell it's a nice eye-catching background. And this looks like some kind of road farm or something in here. This could be clearer, but just, Forever, Texas and the sky, I'm pretty, get the gist. I get the gist that this is the Western book without going any further. This one, this is a nice, clean, clear title. The authors, this is Deacon Wells, I guess is the title of the book. And then his name's down here. So this is clear. It attracts the eyes. It's clear imagery. But Deacon Wells tells you nothing at all. This axe here, I would think this is a book about Vikings, really, is my impression here. If this is a Western book, I wouldn't buy this because this does not look like a Western book to me. I'm just going to take a quick look at this write-up. At the end of search for yesterday. So what is search for yesterday? Is that another book? I'm assuming that's another book. And the fact that you're referring to another book right off the bat means, oh, so I got to buy some other book before I can even begin reading this book. You've lost me. Kid mentions an uncle who he's sure will be searching for him. That uncle is Deacon Wells, and this is his story. Okay, I still don't know what kind of book this is. So you can see where this runs into trouble, and you can see like he's got 7 ratings. So even though he's paying for Amazon ads here and it's showing up at the top of the book, because and the cover as far as clarity isn't bad. The title here is a poor title. Deacon Wells, Refuse. I have no idea what this book is about. The imagery makes me think this is a book about Vikings or something because it's an axe. And this background here really does not look like a Western setting. So, this isn't going to sell. And it's too bad. Now, this book, this is a collection, but this is when I'm talking about professional looking. This does not scream professional to me. This looks very amateurish. The font is very bland. You just got this brown box. There's no kind of sense of design work here. So yeah, I'm not, and the price here is $25, which, I mean, it's a collection of books, but considering it doesn't look all that professional, I'm not jumping on it for $25. And this book, the title here is small. I mean, it's readable, Under the Midnight Sun. The, subtitle is completely illegible. I can't read it at all. It's down here, of course. But that could be much bigger. And really, he's got a lot of real estate here to work at, which is, so this title should be much bigger, like this, for example. And this background is too nondescript. It's too dark. You can't really tell what it is. So it's not helping their sales. So of these three, this one is good. And the rest have some real issues that are holding them back from achieving real sales success. So yes, okay, William Jones Stone, he's obviously a very popular writer in this field. So, enemy, but this is a great cover. Again, for like a Western, Measure of a Man. And this is smart, I mean, considering this is one of the first books searches that came up, and Amazon's smart enough to know man are the same kind of search. Having man in the title, whether this was intentional or not, is actually very helpful, because when people are typing it in and Amazon gives them that drop down, people click on it a lot, and then because he's got man in this title that matches that search description, boom, here his book comes up number one. Of course, having a lot of sales also is a big factor. And so you can see, the fact that made this match, this is the books that sells, Amazon put it here number one. This book, which we looked at before, it's up here. So it's getting a lot of sales. So Amazon's put it number two. Right. And then he's got another one over here. So, but let's keep going. Yeah, here's another one. But yeah, so I was talking about this cover. So this cover again, you got a guy on a horse with a background that's, it could be the West. Smoke Jensen, very cowboy sounding name, American legend. We know what this book is about. Forever Texas, we know what this book is about, right? So this one's not quite as clear, but just even the bandana here coming out, this bandana tie, really kind of clues you in that this is a Western. Okay, what is this? Like, do I even need to say anything more about this cover? This I'm surprised he's got 76 reviews, because this is, I'll give it to him, he's clear. He's nailed the clarity. You can read it. It draws your eyes just because it's pure black. But other than that, I'm surprised he's getting sales, this many sales with this kind of title, because this would not be in my, I would not think this is a professional book. Again, cowboy, we know what it is. A picture from the Old West. So when it says Old West, so this is very, very clear. And I assume this is, from True West magazine. So, this is more historical. So that's perfect. Again, person on a horse, this has got an ocean and stuff. So I'm going to assume this has probably got a bit of romance to it, and Louis L'Amour. So I'm thinking this is probably more of a Western romance book. And if it is, this is a great cover for it, because that's my immediate impression. It's clear. Even though the name is just Tucker, the clarity of the imagery here is all I need to know that, if I'm looking for a Western romance, I'm going to check to see if that's what it is. Then I don't need to go any further, because that's what it is. So Adventure, fiction, romance, yeah, Western. So there you go. It's a Western romance book, and we could immediately tell by this cover. All right. So, you know, that is a great cover because it told us what we need. You know, guy on a horse, you know, guy with a gun, you know, guy on a horse. So these are all, you know, examples of good, clear covers where we know what it is, right? This one's not quite as good as these other ones. But let's go and dig down and further in this list, and so we can look at ones that probably aren't going to be as compelling. Okay. Well, let me go right to 7 here for whatever reason. No. Here we go. Okay. So that's interesting. He's got a book here. I guess it doesn't sell as well. This one, and I think a lot of these books probably are not Western. I'm surprised they would come up. But I mean, here's a book. I mean, right off the bat, I would say this is an indie author, Zane Grey. So this is the guy actually we were looking at his collection before. 86 reviews. This guy's got to be a good author, and he's probably, you know, he's pushing his books. You know, and we did see he had an Amazon ad on. So he is, or she, is actively pushing their books with Amazon ads to get reviews. And even though these covers are far from great, you can't even read what this cover is. Like, you can't read this title at all. And this image is vaguely Western. Light of the Western Stars, at least here. Okay, we know it's a Western. So this could, you know, he could really improve his sales a lot if he had better covers with a clear title, and better imagery, more professional looking. He would probably be, you know, the fact that he's already getting these kind of sales, they would probably be in the hundreds if he fixed up his covers. So these ones are, you know, these are pretty good. Okay. So, okay, so here's one. You know, this looks very indie. And here's some of the issues that I was talking about on the first webinar. So we've got a script that's not the easiest thing to read. I mean, we can read it, Freedom in the Western Wind and the Mountain Wind. But when you're looking at a whole bunch of them like this, you know, the fact that I can't read it like that means my eye tends to glaze over it and go to the next thing. And then here we can see that it's color. They've kind of picked this brown color, but then it's blending in here into the shadow of her dress, which makes this a little harder to read as well. So these kind of things we want to avoid. We want to, you know, keep it clear, right? Like this, very easy to read. You know, whereas this, it's more difficult to read. This title really, again, the font here should be bigger, because considering how spaced out it is, you know, they should just be bigger so it's easier to read. I would have picked a different color, something that stands out more against the background as well. Otherwise, I mean, this cover is okay as far as what the picture is. I'm not sure what this is up in the corner. It just seems slapped on there. I can't even read what it is, so it has no meaning. I still can't read what it is. Call of the Rockies, book 1. Okay, so yeah, obviously that's doing them no favors at all, because I had to get to here to read that. And again, this font is like very difficult to read. So this should have just been across the top of the book or perhaps the bottom of the book, much more legible, so that you can actually read it and understand what it is. Or, you know, they could have moved this up and then it could have been underneath. Either way, it could be a lot clearer to read. I got a lot of reviews here though. So that's good. And so let's take a quick look. So their other books are the same. Hope in the Mountain. And again, you know, this is kind of like bleeding into the background a little bit. And again, what's the name down here? Oh, what's the third one? So they're keeping it consistent throughout the book. That I will give them credit for. Because if you're doing a series, you want to keep a consistent look. But it's just that this isn't, you know, like this bee here. Here's a perfect example. You can't even read the bee because it's hidden by the hair, right? So although she's trying to keep it a consistent look from book to book so that you recognize that this is a series easily, that, you know, having this kind of brown coloring that, you know, bleeds into the background is obviously, you know, not helpful. Okay, so let's just try a completely different genre. Let's go to romance books here. And the reason I'm switching over is because we will see different types of covers. So we saw a bunch of Western covers that had a particular look to them, you know, usually a person on a horse or a person with a gun. You know, often it's a little kind of subdued coloring on those covers. So we're going to take a look at, you know, what's going on over here. And it's, all right, okay, and here's a very kind of typical romance cover book. Guy, woman, you know, a little bit of a fancy font, but this is still clear to read. Now, Melissa Foster here, her name's partly hidden under this guy's head, which is not ideal, but if she's a well-known writer, then this is fine because people will know that this is one of her books. It's, you know, enough that they'll know it's one of her books. This book ends with us. This could be a little bit clearer, but it's good. It's, you know, because it's so big, you can still read this easily. It ends with us. Again, nice, clean, clear cover, book lovers. This is not a romance book. Hook, line, and sinker. You know, so this is nice because it's, you know, these two actually, because it's playing into the, you know, it's playing into the genre conventions. You got a guy and a girl, but because they've gone with this kind of animated or painted style, it gives it a distinct look, right? So this is observing the rules of the genre, but breaking them to, you know, have their own look to them. So, I mean, this is nice, clear cover. Ugly Love. This is nice. So this is a good cover because this is simple. It's clear. Ugly Love, like, what does that mean? You know, you kind of, it's simple here, right? So you don't have to have like a really complex title or something, but you do want to have something with a hook. And this is a good example of a hook in both the cover and the title, because Ugly Love, what does that mean? You know, we're getting the sense that this is underwater. We're seeing these bubbles coming up. So that's suggesting somebody's been tossed underwater. So is there like, the love is so ugly that, you know, somebody's trying to kill the other person, you know? So it'll think, well, what's going on? It's piqued the interest. So we want to know, like, this is a book that people are going to click on, right? This is a great cover because people will click on this book, even if they're not necessarily looking for this, because it's like, what's happening here, right? It grabs your attention. The unhoneymooners, this is good, except the un could be clearer. I missed that the first time I was looking at it. One Italian summer. So I'm going to assume this is, a romance book set in Italy. The Summer of Broken Rules. So, let's go to next. Okay. The image here, so I think it's a woman sitting down. This could be clearer. And again, the name here is blending in to the background, making it difficult to read. And I would assume this is an indie book, so it's not terrible. And obviously she's got sales, but a couple of little mistakes here that could be better. All right, so I hope that's helpful for you. So taking a look at some of these covers and kind of identifying, some of the good ones and some of the where things go wrong. Like this cover here, this is a little overly busy now. It's just your eyes all over the place. And I get, wildflowers, the confidence of the wildflowers. I get why they're trying to do this, but you don't want it to be too busy because your eyes don't know where to go, if that makes sense to you. All right, so now I'm going to go to I'm going to stop sharing, and we're going to take a look at a quick look at Amazon ads. Just give me a minute to sign in. All right, sorry folks, it's just doing the thing where it's sending a password to my phone, so now I've got to grab it from there. Okay. Yeah. Okay, sorry for the wait. So this is the back end of my Amazon ads account. And, this is the blue line here is sales. And this other line here is the ACOS, which is the cost, basically the percentage cost. So what does that mean? So that means during this month here, particularly, the Amazon ads generated $989 worth of book sales. That's net sales at a cost to me of 23%. So in other words, 23%, of this $989, 23% of that, so roughly $230 was the cost of running the ads, and then the rest was profit for me, right? So whereas you see, like over here when I was first learning it, I generated $15 in book sales at a cost of 114%. In other words, I spent more money in the Amazon ads than I made in book sales. So, and that's starting off, so this is when I started to get really serious. So you can see, starting off, that was a good month, but, it's not uncommon for you to spend more money on the ads than you're making in revenue. But it's a matter of, starting, seeing what's working and tweaking until you really narrow it down till you're getting a good return on investment. So as I said, for like every $1 you're putting into Amazon ads, you're earning $3 in book sales. So let's just do an ad. We're going to do one simple ad here real quick, so you can see that this is, a pretty simple process, because I know a lot of authors are really marketing adverse. You don't want to be, telling people buy my book, and really that's a terrible approach anyways. So once you understand how Amazon ads work, they're really not difficult to do, and there's no reason you can't be doing it. So I'm going to create a campaign here, and I don't have time, obviously, to go through everything here. So we're just going to do sponsored product. I'm going to let's do one for my cookbook here. I'm going to do auto. So I'm just giving it a name so I know what it is. You don't have to put a lot of money into these, but you would put at least $5 to $10, not more than that, not less than $5. Less than $5, you're not giving Amazon enough money to meaningfully put your ad out. And if it's not getting your ad out in a meaningful way, it's not learning. So you have to, do at least $5. Now, even though you're saying $5, it's not, Amazon is probably not going to spend $5 a day. It's probably only going to spend $1 or $2 or $3. It's possible it'll spend all $5 if it just, finds something that kind of works. But likely it won't. So you're not going to end up spending $150 for the months because you put $5 in per day. I'm going to just do automatic targeting here. So very simple ad. Always do a fixed bid to start off with. So that's so that you know how much you're paying for these ads and get a better sense of what's going to work. And I apologize, I'm going through this pretty quick because I don't have a lot of time to go through this, but I just want to show you that it can be very simple. So we're not going to do a custom ad right now. You can write your own copy if you want for the ad, but I'm just going to keep it standard. And if you put it standard, it's basically just putting the name of the book, the title and the subtitle. You don't even have to put anything here. I'm just putting the same thing in. So right now, our cookbook is one of our weaker sellers. So I'm going to run an ad for it here just to boost it up. So this is, all our books. Some of these we are no longer in use. So I got 3 versions of the cookbook. I have ebook, a print book, a soft cover and a hard cover. So that's why you're seeing 3 of them here. So, I'm just going to add them all. You don't have to. You can just put one. I would suggest usually you're going to have an ebook and a print, and I would suggest you just add them both. And then Amazon will show the appropriate one. If the person's looking for Kindle books, particularly, they'll show the ebook one. If they're looking at print books, they'll show the print book one. But more importantly than that is that if you only put the ebook in and somebody clicks on the ebook and they end up buying the print, it doesn't record it as a sale, even though it's legit, it's a sale for you, because they didn't buy the ebook that was displayed. Amazon doesn't record it as a sale. And then that kind of throws off those ACOS percentage numbers because it's not properly accounted for. Now you have to put in a bid amount, and I would suggest when you're starting off, go low. I'm going to do 75 cents here. To start off, they'll give you a range, so 64 to $1.13. The more you bid, the more often it's going to show, and the more it'll show, at the top and the right, where people's eyes, go across. So you'll get a more prominent position the higher you bid, but you don't necessarily have to do a top bid here. And honestly, if you're putting in a lot of money unnecessarily, you're going to kill that ACOS, is the amount of money that it's going to be costing you too much to run those ads, basically. So we're just going to go over this again. So I just name, date. You don't have to put an end date in. Budget of $5 to $10 to start off with. Rarely do I have anything going for more than 10. Fixed bids always. Standard ads are great to start off with. So this is going to be an automated targeting. So what that means is Amazon will decide who it shows this to. If you do manual targeting, you're going to tell Amazon who to show it to. But it's great to start off with an automated campaign and then see what works. Because once this gets going and you leave it for a couple of weeks to a month, just let it run. And then when you go back, you can go in and look at it and see what's working and what's not. And we'll do that right now with one of my existing ones. So this has gone off. They're going to approve it. That usually happens in half a day to a day. So you're not usually waiting very long for them to approve the ad. But let me go into one of my, okay. So this is another book. I've been running this ad for a while. So if I wanted to niche this down to kind of refine it to get better results, because, here, this is that particular day, it cost me more in ads than I made in book sales, right? So this is a little bit high at 53%. I want to get that down. So we're going to click targeting here, and this will show me, these are the search terms. So this is a targeted one where I told Amazon where to show this book. So if people are searching for these search terms, it's showing the book to those people. So what I'm going to look for here now is the amount spent, how many people bought a book, and the ACOS, advertising cost per sale, for this. Right now, unfortunately, if there's only one, that really doesn't tell you a lot. But what we can see is, ones where this is really high. So I'm going to be looking at, here. So here, the dollars spent here is higher than the rest, but I also sold 4 books. So the ACOS is actually low. So that's fantastic. Spend as much money as you want there, Amazon, because that's working sweet for me. You know, 38, not terrible, not bad. 5, I mean, some of these are excellent, excellent, obviously. This one's a little bit high. So, you know, weight loss for Christians. This particular book is on getting motivation to exercise. So weight loss for Christians could be a little too generic for this particular book. And so this is kind of driving up that ACOS here, because there's a fair amount spent on this with only one book sale to show. So let's just, you know, I'm going to turn this off just so you can see. So I just click that button and it won't show it to that search result anymore. This one too, let's see, workout devotional. So yeah, I'm gonna leave this for now, because I'm thinking this should get better results. So it might just be the numbers, you know, I mean, it's all a numbers game, and one sale isn't enough, and it's not horrible. I'm not losing money on this. So I'm going to leave this one for now. But the other thing here is the bid dollar amount, right? And this bid dollar amount is pretty high. And this one is 2, but you can see 117, it didn't spend the whole 216. So that's fine. But this is costing me a lot of money running this. So you know what? I'm just going to drop this down. I'm going to drop this down to, let's call it 75. You know, because it's not converting great for me anyways. So I'm going to leave it, but I'm going to drop that down so I'm not spending so much, so that will improve my ACOS. Right? Makes sense? And that's it. I'm done. So the last thing I'm going to talk about here is, you know, and really, I hope this has been a great help for you, and it's really helpful to be able to just go in here and really see, you know, some of these covers and these titles and what works for people and what don't work for people. No, do it this way. All right, go back to screen share. Where'd it go? Wow, I can't get to the tab I want to get to here. Hold on. There we go. All right, you can tell I'm new at this, right? So I'm still learning. I know a lot of you guys are learning on how to do your books and get your books out there. So, and you can see, I want to encourage you that even though this is something new for me, and I'm just, you know, been in the back, I've been helping my wife build her business and doing these webinars and creating courses and all that stuff. I know it intimately from the back end. Being from the front end here is new for me, but you know what? I've just kind of jumped in here. I'm just doing it. I'm learning every day what works and what doesn't work. And I'm encouraging you to do the same thing when it comes to your books. So if you're finding these videos helpful, and I'm going to do one more next week still on the 7th, and I'll send out the details for that for sure this time. So you can get, you know, some more help. We'll do some even more in-depth training on that one. So if you find this helpful and you would like to get more help like this on learning how to really position your books to have success when you get them out onto Amazon, because Amazon does have over 33 million books on it. So you can, you know, just putting a book in Amazon doesn't mean you're going to get any sales. It doesn't mean anyone will even ever find your book. You have to position your book in a way that people can find it, that when they find it, that their eyes are drawn to it. When their eyes are drawn to it, they understand immediately what it is that your book is about, and they want to click on it. And then when they click on it, you have some compelling copy, you have some good reviews, and then they buy. And, you know, these are the things that I can really help you with in mastering, whether you're still in the book writing process or you've got your book out already. I can work with you to really help you to master these elements and get your book selling more, because isn't that why, you know, we're writing them in the first place, is so that we can get them in the hands of readers. And, you know, if you do want to build a business around your book, we can certainly help you with that, because my wife and I have been doing that for 8 years now, and we totally understand how that works, because we've built a multi-six-figure income doing just that. So and put together a special offer for you. I wasn't not originally planning to do this, was just planning to do a webinar to explain my process, because people ask me all the time. But God's just put it in my soul that I need to step up and I need to do more, and I need to give you guys the tools so that people where he's put it on your heart to spread some inspiration, to spread some information, to, you know, really, you know, share something with the body, with the world, to help you get it out there. So I'm putting this together for you, and this is the most comprehensive training that I can think of to ensure that you have success. And it's got some different elements in it. So I am going to build a whole course here in a way that's very simple for you. Short video training with exercises. So it'll just give you a little step, tell you, you know, show you what to do, go do it, come back, do the next one. So it's never overwhelming. It gives you confidence that you can do it, and we will step you through it bit by bit. Weekly coaching calls. So every week, at least for the first 12 weeks, maybe longer, I'm going to do a live coaching call, work with you to, you know, and because it's probably not going to be a whole lot of people at first, I will be offering this again in the future at a higher price, because it's probably not going to be very many of you to begin with. You're going to get a lot more of my attention. We'll be able to do dives in on your books, really look at them, you know, and address what needs to be done with them. So every week, live call for the first 12 weeks at least, and then I'll probably reduce it. We'll have a private Facebook group so we can inspire each other and hold each other accountable and ask questions in there. And then, because I've been in this industry quite a while, I'm in quite a few writers groups. I know a lot of different writers and publishers. I will have some guest speakers every month. I'll have somebody come in and they can talk, you know, on a particular genre or a particular aspect of the industry and give you even more depth onto that. But wait, there's more. So I'm going to do a bunch of bonus programs as well. So I will build this out over the next 12 weeks or so. But we're going to do a couple of courses on how to write your books. And it doesn't have to be hard, and it doesn't have to be complicated, and it doesn't have to take you a year. My wife's going to do one. She has 8 books currently out. I'm going to do one on my writing process. We do it differently. So I want you to see, you know, different styles, different ways to do it. How to set up your book on Amazon. If you don't already have a book on Amazon, I'll step you through that process. I'll step you through it on Google Books, because this is the most overlooked opportunity to sell books out there. I'll show you on Ingram, because I find Ingram is the best source for anything other than Amazon. And particularly if you're a Christian writer, and I know a lot of people who are on these calls are Christians, you have to have your book on Ingram, and I'll explain why if you join. I'll show you how to set up your own online bookstore, easy bookstore on your own website if you have one, and you don't have to deal with taxes or anything like that. Very simple for you. I'm going to do a course on Facebook ads. so that, you know some strategies to use Facebook to help promote your book or book series. I'm going to do a training on how to get more reviews. Getting reviews are one of the things that most authors struggle with, and there's some simple ways to do it to remove that struggle. I'm going to show you some of the big book promotions, whether it's doing 99-cent book promotions and where are the best places to do that, doing the book free with shipping, which you've probably seen people do, and how does that work, and other popular book promotions that you can do. I'm going to show you where to, apply for book awards and how to get them. I'm going to cover interior book design, where to find talent if you're looking for editors or cover designers or interior designers. Should point you in the right direction where you can find those and more. So especially for the people who join me now at this founders level, since I'm going to be working closely with you, whatever your needs are, I'm going to prioritize that and get that done first, and really suit you and really help you out, and then build the rest up later. So that's what's available. That will be $1,000 program once it's completed. And there's other people out there who have programs to help you sell books, and a lot of them are on how to build your business. And again, we're going to have that as well. Not in this particular offer, but if you're interested in that, let me know, because we can certainly do that. But this is really for all you Aussies who your key thing is you just want to get your word out. You just want to get your book out. You want to share it with more people, and maybe you want to just make some money from getting this book out, and that's really where my heart is to help you to do that. And if that's something that, you enjoying these videos and you want to work with me, then my wife did not put the website on here, but it's sellmorebooksacademy.com. And this will be $1,000 program once I get it fully developed. But right now, because I am just in the development stages, and I'll be building it out with you week over week, I've got a special founders offer to only $297. And this is the only time I'm going to offer it for that price, and only until September 10th. After that, that price will be gone. And it's, I don't know what the next price will be, but when I'm going to offer this next. But right now, and only right now, it's $297 until September 10th. sellmorebooksacademy.com is the website to sign up for that. And I will be looking forward to working with you every week to help you be successful on Amazon and other bookstores online, and even in physical bookstores as well. So thank you for watching. I appreciate you. I love you. I love everyone who has a real message in their heart that they want to share. And I want to help you to be successful, to help other people, and to inspire other people, and to bring joy to their lives. So that's it for this call. I will do one more on the 7th because didn't get the link out to you guys in time to join me here, but we'll do one more with a little deeper training on the 7th. So you can check back for that. But otherwise, sellmorebooksacademy.com. I'll see you there.